Welcome back to Pimlico here in Baltimore. You love this place, don't you?
I love this place. It's my favorite leg of the Triple Crown because it's a relaxed atmosphere. We're all in here together in the same barn, so we get to hang out with each other, and the tension of the Derby's over. We have a Derby winner, so it's a way of celebrating the Derby winner and see who gets the next leg.
And how things go this morning at Churchill, and how was your ship up here?
He shipped really really well. We just walked the shed row this morning because I didn't want to do too much with him, and he looks like he came off the van in great shape, and he's really full of himself. So I could tell he was, by the way he was dragging me around there, that he's on his game, and that's what you want to see. A few days out.
Is there a little more tension when you have the Derby winner than the other guys?
I like when I have the Derby winner. It's a better feeling because I know I have a pretty good horse, and so. But I mean, it's fun for everybody. I know I've been there. I've come in here getting beat in the Derby and been lucky enough to win it. So, but every time I came, I was always in awe of the Derby winner, and it was nice to see him because you, as a trainer, you're a fan also, and you like to see. I remember Smarty Jones when he was in here. I wanted to see him up close, and Monarchos and all these horses. And you see them like, oh, okay, because well, maybe I'll buy a horse that looks like you one day or whatever. It's like you're getting educated. They all come in all sizes and shapes, but no, it's really fun to be here again.
Are you doing any little idiosyncrasies or anything that like you did with Pharaoh, like same stall, same whatever?
I'm not sure. He might be in the same stall, but we've been in different stalls here. We've won it out of this end, we've won it out of that end, so I don't go by that.
Any reason why you didn't take stall 40?
You know what? We took it a few years, but it seems to be the horses don't be able to relax because it's right in the corner, and you have all these looky-loos all day long, and in there, and they're snapping the click of the camera. So here it's more. I think it's just quieter. We want as quiet as could be.
What's the plan for the next couple of days? Is he going to the track tomorrow?
Yeah, he'll go. Next couple days we'll just play it by ear. I need a good weatherman in here to tell me. I need a window, and so we'll just take. We're not going to do a lot with him because the track's pretty wet. So you're not going to do much with him. So we did all our work in Churchill. So basically, I think we're all in the same boat. So we're just gonna just do the same.
Yeah, Bob, you certainly talked to Churchill about how the weather on race day made you tense. The forecast here is not great. Does it have you unsettled at all?
No, because that's something that if you can't control it, I don't. The thing is, I think it just puts more pressure on the track man to make sure it's safe and make sure it doesn't get. Sometimes these tracks I've seen they lose the bottom, or if it dries out, it gets deep and gooey, and like it gets very very tiring. So it can be hard on a horse. So, but that's something that nature's in charge of that thing.
Bob, when you have the Derby winner, you worry about maybe not doing too much between the Derby and the Preakness because he's obviously comes out of the race dead fit.
I think it depends on the individual. I've worked some, some I haven't worked, but he's a big, hardy horse, and he's been running a lot. He's been running every 3 weeks since he broke his maiden, so he's been on a 3 week cycle. So and he basically ran himself into shape into the Kentucky Derby because I know the Santa Anita Derby he was, I could tell he was pretty tired. That was the first time he'd been asked to do something, so. But actually, he came out of the Kentucky Derby. He looked much brighter, and he was cooled out really, quickly. So it just shows you that his fitness level is pretty good.
Bob, you're aware of the uncertainty that's surrounding a Preakness for the next few years. How important is it for you, it's your year, to bring these superstar type horses here for the Preakness and get the interest as high as it can be?
Well, I think it's very important, especially here in Pimlico, because the history involved in it. You hear rumors. Well, they're going to move it or whatever, and it's just, to me, it's magical in here. I mean, there's just something about it. I've been watching it since I was 10, 11 years old, and you think of Jim McKay and the Preakness. So there's so much history there, but it's very important that these like the Derby winner comes here and all the good horses. It's a really good field. I think the field you know and it was a tough Derby field. So there's some nice horses in there that we're going to have to take on, but You know, I prefer the softer the better, but you know, if he's gonna, you know, he's gotta can't make it easy on him. You know, if they're gonna go on to the next level.
The fact that he ran so well in bad conditions at Churchill Downs, does that, as a trainer, give you feeling like whatever the weather is, this horse is able to
Well, I
perform
mean,
it?
I think he's a horse that brings his track with him. I think he's just a really good horse, and but it doesn't slow him down any because he's running 2 off tracks and he won them both. But yeah, I mean, like I said, he's always been a superior horse, and those really good ones, they just seem to run on anything.
Barrow won from the one post.
The what?
Barrow won from the one hole. Is that okay, or would you prefer?
You know what? I don't really try to figure out the post positions until we have them. I know when I remember my wife had just landed in Washington Dulles, and she said, "Have they drawn yet?" I said, "We just left the airport." The driver picked her up. I said, "Yes, Farrell's in the 1, Dortmund's in the 2." She said, "Should I turn around?" And so, I felt like, "Yeah, you go ahead," you know. Like, and I thought, no, and I thought, you know, well, I guess if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. That's what I've always felt. Hey, if they're that good, you know, they'll overcome it. So we have to overcome it.
Well, I mean, you talked about how the draw was everything with the Derby. I mean, is it a little bit less important with an 8-horse field, or is it still just as essential?
I think it's not as essential. I think you know, the Derby is like, it's a shorter field. They have a decent run. You know, I think the break is essential. I mean, the start is always very essential. So, but you know, the Derby is like, you know, we're dealing with 20 horses, and you know, it just, and you can even have if you don't break, I think the break is the most important thing in that race.
Bob, you won 6 of these Preaknesses. You're undefeated coming here with the Derby winner. Is there any?
That's a good stat.
Is there any little?
I hope it keeps up. Yeah.
There any one little small trick or a big thing that's helped you have all that success as far as this little 2-week window?
I think they won because they were like the best horse, and they were at their, you know, any horse that usually wins the Derby, they're in top form, and that's what you want. You know, you want to, like these preps, you want to get your horse that he is peaking on Derby Day, and sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't. So this is a horse that's really peaking right now, and those other horses were, and they came here, and they won it. Point Given, he just had a bad trip. Lucky had a horrendous trip, and he came back and redeemed himself. But it's you know, they're tough, and they've got you know, I've put a pretty good foundation into these horses before they run. So the foundation is there, but the main ingredient that he's a great horse, and we've seen that. Well, like that guy that I was telling about, we heard in the newsreel about Man and War. The essential of a good horse is speed, and the main ingredient is more speed, and that's what he has. And we saw that.
Was the pony Sunny with an O or Sunny with a U?
Sonny with a I know it. We know what we did. I'll tell you what we did. He is a beautiful golden Palomino, and the other day we brought him out before we came a week before, and I looked at him. I go, "Sonny, you clipped him." They just clipped him because his hair he was so beautiful. He said he went from sunny to cloudy, you know. So we've been calling him Cloudy, but and I think it just followed him. We should have never clipped that pony.
Who out of the Derby do you think could up their game in each one?
You know what? It's tough. We have Good Magic, who I have, you know, a lot of respect for. He's a champion, ran second to us. He's right there with us, and so you've got new shooters. You've got John Service has brought. You know, John Service. He didn't come for the crab cakes. So, and then you got Quip. He's a really good horse. He's fast, and you've got. I mean, there's the field is, you know, and Wayne. You can't count Wayne Lucas out. That's when he does the most damage, when nobody's talking about him, he's under the radar. So he still knows his horses, and he comes up here for a reason.